If you've ever scrolled past a face like his, tired eyes, worn jacket, the kind of man people don't really see, pause right now. Because this story is about the moment the world finally saw him. And before we go any further, do me a small favor, tap like, subscribe to the channel, and stay with this story until the end. You won't just watch it, you'll feel it. Seat 12F was the kind of seat nobody noticed. Window side, economy cabin, right over the wing. The man sitting there kept his knees tight, shoulders folded inward, trying to make himself smaller than he already felt. His name was Daniel Carter, though nobody on that plane knew it. To them, he was just another janitor traveling alone, the kind people assumed was flying for the first time, the kind they judged without thinking. His boots were scuffed, his jacket faded, and there was a quiet gravity about him that didn't invite conversation. The flight attendants smiled politely but moved on quickly. The businessman in 12E sighed when Daniel took a little too long to stow his bag. The woman across the aisle glanced at his hands, rough, scarred, and looked away. Daniel didn't mind. He was used to being invisible. What they couldn't see was the folded photo tucked inside his jacket pocket. 3 kids, grinning wide, arms wrapped around each other on the steps of a small apartment building. Lily, 8 years old, missing her front tooth. Noah, 10, trying to look tough. And Ben, the youngest, asleep in Daniel's arms when the picture was taken. Their mom had passed 4 years earlier, and since then Daniel had worked nights as a janitor at a regional airport, cleaning floors while his kids slept, saving every spare dollar. This flight wasn't for vacation. It was for a promise, to be there for Lily's surgery consult in another state, something he couldn't miss, no matter how tight the money got. As the plane taxied, Daniel rested his head back and closed his eyes. The low hum of the engines vibrated through his chest, familiar in a way that stirred something deep and old. He knew that sound. He'd known it in another life. Halfway through the flight, turbulence rattled the cabin. A sudden jolt made the overhead bins creak, and a nervous murmur spread through the passengers. Daniel's eyes snapped open. Instinct straightened his spine before his mind caught up. He watched the wing through the window, reading the plane's movement the way some men read weathered hands or old maps. The flight attendants reassured everyone, voices steady, but the turbulence worsened. Drinks sloshed. A baby cried. Then came the sound no passenger wants to hear, a sharp, metallic thud, followed by a subtle but unmistakable change in engine pitch. The cabin went quiet in that strange way fear travels, fast, silent, contagious. The captain's voice came over the intercom, calm but clipped, explaining there was a minor issue and they were assessing it. Daniel's jaw tightened. Minor was a word pilots used to keep people calm. His eyes scanned again, counting seconds, listening for irregularities. He didn't want to do this. He hadn't used that part of himself in years. But some things never leave you. A few rows up, a young flight attendant fumbled with her radio, whispering urgently. Daniel leaned into the aisle just enough to catch a glimpse of the cockpit door, still closed but tension leaking through it like heat. He hesitated, then pressed the call button. When the attendant reached him, her smile was thin. "Sir, please stay seated. There's a compressor stall risk on the left engine," Daniel said quietly. "If you haven't already, tell the captain to watch the EGT. And you're going to want to adjust altitude sooner rather than later." She stared at him, startled. "Sir, what did you say you do for a living?" "I clean airports," he replied, honest and incomplete. "But I used to fly." She blinked, clearly unconvinced, but something in his voice, steady, grounded, made her nod. She relayed the message anyway, half expecting to be laughed at. Inside the cockpit, the captain frowned. The data matched what the janitor in 12F had said. The co-pilot glanced back toward the cabin camera feed. "Who is this guy?" That's when the captain asked for Daniel's name. The flight attendant returned, voice lower now. "Sir, the captain wants to know who you are." Daniel exhaled slowly. He hadn't spoken that name aloud in a long time. "Call sign was Atlas," he said. "F-22 program. Retired." Silence followed her back to the cockpit. Then disbelief. Then recognition. The captain's eyes widened. Atlas wasn't just a call sign. It was legend. A pilot known for bringing damaged jets home when no one else could. A man who vanished from the program years ago without explanation. The plane shifted as the pilots adjusted course. Outside, another aircraft appeared on the horizon, sleek, sharp, unmistakable. An F-22 Raptor, then another, escorting them through the clouds. Passengers pressed to the windows, murmuring in awe, phones out, fear mixing with wonder. Daniel stayed seated, hands folded, heart pounding, not with fear, but memory. As the jets drew closer, something extraordinary happened. The lead Raptor dipped its wing in a crisp, deliberate motion. A salute. The captain's voice came over the intercom, no longer just calm, reverent. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have an unexpected guest on board today. A man who once served our skies with honor. On behalf of this crew, and those flying beside us, we salute you." The cabin erupted into confused applause. People turned, searching for the hero. The businessman in 12E froze when he realized who the applause was for. The woman across the aisle covered her mouth. The flight attendant stood straighter, eyes shining. Daniel didn't stand. He didn't wave. He just bowed his head, thinking of 3 kids who thought their dad just cleaned floors for a living. They landed safely. As the plane taxied, the cockpit door opened. The captain stepped out, followed by the co-pilot. Both stopped in the aisle. In full view of every passenger, they snapped to attention and saluted C-12F. For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then Daniel stood, returning the salute with a precision his body remembered even if his life had changed. Applause thundered, not the polite kind, but the kind that shakes you. Strangers wiped tears from their eyes. Phones recorded, but no video could capture what it felt like to watch dignity restored in real time.